I call to order the February 10th meeting of the Student Government Association. We are live streaming and recorded. Please review your agendas while checking the call.
Angelina Casella, Zara Rivet,
Here.
Christopher Lannon, here. Eli Baez, here. D'Angeliz Ozuna Sandoval, Brenna Giuliani,
Here.
Luke Staley,
Here.
Will Honorado,
Here.
Alyssa Hannafin,
Here.
Raymond Croto, Sofia Rudenko, Aiden Gomez,
Here.
Fabian Morales, Lucia Sedora,
Here.
Liv Carney,
Here.
Julian Ogier,
Here.
Coda Santos,
Here.
Matthew Kusha,
Here.
Ali Sutherland, Maria Renta Marrero.
Here.
Are there any corrections to the minutes from February 3rd? Seeing none, the minutes are approved.
And now for your president's report, Justin Wald.
All right. Hello, everybody. It's exciting to see you all again for another week of SGA. I would like to invite our guest speakers up to the podium. Today we are joined by Jenica Spitz-Gasnola, the Director of Strategic Vision and Campus Integration, and Dr. Azanda Seymour, the Executive Director of Opportunity Programs from the Office of Belonging, Inclusion, and Learning. They have a presentation that was sent to the team, so if you'd like to follow along because the TVs are not working, you may be on your phones for this.
Hey y'all. Dr. Hearn's passing around a data packet that I put together for you. But I'll just read. No, it's okay. You can come over here. So anyway, I wanted to just thank you all for having us tonight and for also having our office in mind in your conversations, and the work that is so needed that comes out of this office in collaboration with you all in the extended community. For those who don't know me, I'm Jenica Spitz-Gasnola. I use she and they pronouns. And I'll let Azanda introduce herself. Azanda.
Azanda Seymour. I don't know.
Yeah.
My title is evolving, so I couldn't tell you.
All right, so I wanted to thank you. I will. Thanks. Can I have one of these? Thank you. I brought some Office of Belonging, Inclusion, and Learning pens because they write really well, and Lorraine's a huge fan, so I was like, I should share them with everyone. Anyway, those are there. They're coming around. All right, so I'll leave room for questions at the end if you all have questions just about the general state of things or what have you. But I really wanted to take this time to share with you all high-level data that came out of the fall campus climate survey, just because I felt like it was really necessary for you all to kind of hear preliminarily like what happened in that first sprint. The next version of the campus climate survey will be given out to students in like mid-March, but I'll make many announcements about that leading up to that. All right, so a link was also shared with you, so I'm going to be referencing the presentation. I can give folks like a minute to bring that up if you all want to do that, to look along. Good? Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, this presentation really kind of culminates both scaled responses, numbers, narrative that was given throughout the survey, and responses where students really described their experience in their own words. I'm not going to give you direct quotes or anything like that. If this resonates with you, any of the narrative information that I do share with you, that's happenstance. It's not representative of you in particular, and this is just kind of general insight based on what I learned. Yeah, so, and again, this is very high level. It's not based on individual behavior or blaming any groups or anything. I just want to be fully transparent about the way in which the data was interpreted. And just so you know, this report was developed by myself and institutional research. So the IR team kind of led the way in helping me come up with the proportionality and all of that to make sure that it was representative of the campus community. All right, so the survey itself, I know that many of you all took the survey, thank you so much. It really focused on students' everyday experiences, everything from belonging to inclusive treatment to comfort levels, expressing certain things, access to supports, whether students encountered unfair or discriminatory treatment, and some questions were about the classroom environment specifically, and others were about the campus more broadly. And that was done really intentionally because the next iteration that you'll see will focus on centered more on the campus more broadly. So like what you're doing in your affinity spaces or registered student organizations or events and things on campus, the initiatives you're a part of. So that's to come. But this was really focused on classroom climate, and then how things feel generally. And I think broadly this really allowed us to understand how students are feeling respected and whether they feel comfortable participating in these various areas. Slide 3. And before looking at the results, it's really important to understand who responded. So we had a total of 467 students that completed the survey in its entirety, who received a 100% score based on our Qualtrics, the Qualtrics platform that we use to deploy the survey. Overall, the students who completed the survey closely reflected the overall student population, so we had proportionality as far as comparing the amount or the amounts of the different student populations to the actual larger student population. Does that make sense? And so anyway, so it was representative across all areas: race, gender, disability status, first gen status, and financial aid or Pell Grant status. I've outlined the race and ethnicity and gender identity proportionalities here, but a broader breakdown is in the packet that I gave you, and you can peruse through that later on. And there are some differences, though, I wanted to point out for proportionality. There were gender diverse students that were more represented in our campus climate survey, and male identified respondents were underrepresented in our survey. But taken together, this sample is relative to the larger student body, and gives us a reliable kind of picture of student experience overall. All right, next slide. Looking at the bigger picture, first, on average, students reported being somewhere between somewhat and mostly satisfied across most areas. Inclusive and equitable treatment, institutional commitment, and affinity group experiences all scored relatively high, so that's really good news. Experiences related to unfair or discriminatory treatment scored lower, meaning that students tended to disagree that these are common experiences, so that's also really good. So overall, this is, not a picture of a campus that is defined by hostility, but as we will see a few slides from now, I will kind of break down how the averages overall don't necessarily tell the whole story. We can go to the next slide. The two lowest scoring areas weren't about coursework or faculty support. They were about comfort, specifically comfort expressing views on campus broadly, and comfort requesting academic accommodations in the classroom. These themes also came through strongly in the narrative responses as well. And this is a really important distinction because many students reported feeling respected, but that didn't always translate into feeling safe enough to speak up or ask for support or ask for help, right? Which to me signals a class climate struggle or tangle that we're kind of in. And the next slide. So before we look at discrimination by group or discrimination experiences by group, I wanted to pause here and share what students described in their own words. So overall, narrative responses painted a picture of a campus that is generally respectful, as I mentioned earlier, with supportive faculty and really a good slate of opportunity, I think, to engage with one another and in the classroom. At the same time, many students described feeling like they had to hold back, not necessarily because of direct mistreatment, but because of fear of judgment, social anxiety, or concerned about how their lives or views or identities would be received, particularly in the classroom. And importantly, different groups described feeling vulnerable for different reasons. So some LGBTQIA plus students mentioned safety concerns tied to comments or events that have happened. Some religious or politically conservative students described fear of marginalization. Some students with disabilities expressed a reluctance to disclose their disability status due to stigma in particular. And then some students of color expressed experiences with racial slurs or hateful speech directed towards them or to their group, and a particular fear around external visitors coming onto campus. Again, this is very high level to protect the anonymity of the students who expressed these comments or these insights. But the key takeaway, I think, from these narrative responses is that campus climate is uneven and it's not uniformly kind of positive or negative, but it really is highly dependent on the context in which students are navigating and the identities that they hold and the settings in which these things are happening. So the next slide really is, I think, key to moving forward because I want to give you context on who was exposed to different parts of the survey and why. So students, particularly those who self-identified as white students and or students who identified as religious and or politically conservative, oftentimes paired together or mutually exclusive in the way that in which that was presented or self-identified, were very vocal in the open-ended narrative sections of the survey. Their comments appeared frequently in the qualitative data as outlined prior to this one. And again, a lot of it was centered around just fear of marginalization, fear of feeling like their perspectives weren't the dominant ones, or that they felt like they were worried about being able to express their whole selves in the classroom setting. However, when responding to the scaled questions, these same students generally answered in ways that did not trigger the survey's branching logic. The survey had a branching logic to allow for students who were expressing experiences with discrimination and things like that to be able to answer a different set of questions or additional questions to get more insight on those experiences. So that means that they answered generally more positively, and thus that means they weren't routed onto the follow-up questions. By contrast, however, students with minoritized identities, including students of color, gender nonconforming students, LGBTQIA+ students, first-gen students, and students with disabilities, were far more likely to answer earlier questions in ways that did trigger those follow-up questions. And when they did, their responses were substantially more negative than those of their non-minoritized peers. Does that make sense? Okay. So when we say that the campus climate issues, right, appear more salient for certain populations of students, where I'm not standing up here saying that others don't have opinions or concerns, right? We're saying that students that come from these minoritized groups are more likely to encounter the conditions in which the survey was designed to probe or to identify, right, where there was some sort of disparity, and more likely they were going to report these experiences as difficult or harmful. And then in the next slide, it really just goes over response rates by identity group. I wanted to just show you how the reported experiences of unfair or discriminatory treatment differed by group. So as you'll see on this slide, I kind of pieced all of these minoritized groups that reported higher exposure than their counterparts to the other or like non-identity of that group. And again, these experiences vary, and that vulnerability looks different depending on the identity. But I just kind of wanted to show you the proportionality of those who identified in that group and then those that didn't and how they responded. All right, I'm almost done. But anyway, before closing, I really wanted to be clear about what the findings did say and what they don't mean, right? Because I think that's really important. These do not mean that discrimination is constant or universal. They don't mean that everyone shares the same experience, and they do not mean that positive experiences aren't real, right? All of those things are true and not true, I guess. What they do show is that inclusion, comfort, and safety are uneven across the campus. And that these uneven experiences are felt disproportionately by students with minoritized identities, or in settings where the expressions or self-expressions are the minority, right, in that space. So both are equally important. And for all of these students, all students involved, right, the discomfort, the silence, the withdrawal that students are experiencing and expressing is very real and is often tied to repeated or anticipated negative events or experiences rather than a lack of general disinterest or engagement. So in other words, students want to participate fully, but the conditions don't always support them in being able to do so. All right, and with that, the survey doesn't tell us everything, right? And this is one half of it. This was in the fall semester. We're, like I said, going to be launching the next half of it in a short few weeks. And my hope is to really dive deeper into this data and offer a fuller, more broad report with recommendations at the end that allow for us to take some actionable steps. I would love for all of you to be partners in that work and figuring out and really looking at it holistically and saying, okay, these are some of the things that we're already doing that might help to aid in students not feeling this way, or maybe this is an area that we can lean more into, or whatever. I want it to be a collaborative thing for us to work together on. And yeah, I think overall it's not necessarily mainly just about like preventing harm, but really creating conditions where all students can thrive in various ways in which they're expressing and that we see in this data. So yeah, that's it. Anyway, if you have any questions about this, you can ask me now or in general, or you can follow up with Melanie Gaudet, who's the person in institutional research that helped me to develop this report.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Jen? Barney Garcia?
Hi.
For this information, sorry, this column was
Yeah, of
full.
course.
So I'm gonna sit. So I just wanted to ask, I guess, a question in regards to the BIL officer. I know there's been a lot of shakeup and whatnot. I guess more specifically, I guess, with respect to the survey, what is the action plan? And I guess now with the BIL office now taking its next transitionary step. Formerly, it was more of a student-facing office for our freshman folks that are not formally aware of what the BIL was for. I guess my question is, will the office retain its student-facing functions with respect to support of the new groups? Knowing that there is at least that disparity existing in the data, I think there's a lot of grounding showing that there needs to be more support.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. So yes, the short answer is yes. There will still be a student-facing function, and this work is not an add-on, right? It's not an opt-in thing. It should be baked into everything we do. And I think this repositioning really is going to allow for us to think about intentional ways in which this can be infused everywhere, and to reimagine and kind of evaluate or reevaluate systems that are already in place to ensure that they are meeting what we have committed to in our mission, vision, and strategic plan, right? I really think that this is an opportunity for us to collaborate more frequently, for us to create a concrete plan to move forward. And as far as the strategic plan is, or the plan for this and for the survey in particular, it's really hard for me to lean into giving you any concrete response to this right now, just because it's really important for us to capture full year data to then make a plan moving forward. And we've only touched the tip of this data, right? Like, this is a very condensed version that I've presented to you all, because it was just so rich and so insightful, not just in the narrative, but in the quantitative data as well. And so, yes to all of that. And Azanda and I have been having a lot of conversation around how we ensure that students are still centered throughout all of this process with this transition. So you absolutely do not have to worry about that. And for those who know me, know that I have an open door. You can come to me with your concerns at any point in time. Azanda feels the same way. I don't want to speak for Azanda, but I know she feels that way. And we are here and willing to do whatever is necessary to ensure that you are kept at the center, because without you, we wouldn't be here, and you are the reason why we are here, right? And so we're taking lead from you always, especially in this area. Yeah.
Justin Wolf.
Sort of piggybacking off of Barney, with the reorganization of the office, we're all worried about student support. So would you be able to maybe shed some more light on what students might not know about with the reorganization? Maybe a timeline when you think it might be over, or the transition might be over?
Yeah.
Or just any details you can spare at this point?
Yeah. So what I can share is that the office has been reorganized out of academic affairs to human resources. I'm not sure if we're still going to go by the same title or an office name, but I think something that I've learned the last year and some change is that we can't really be married to titles and things like that. They're meaningful and words matter, and there's a lot of opportunity to lean into adapting to things that we need to lean into, right? Sorry that that's very like broad and abstract even, I realize that. And I think there's a bigger plan for how everything fits together. And I'm really hopeful that I'll continue to, and Azanda will continue to be at the helm of figuring out what that means for this area and for the institution as a whole. I think the good thing is that all parts of BIL are not solely my responsibility anymore, so that I can focus on more of the strategic visioning and framework for this, while still being able to be engaged in really meaningful ways. And so, yeah, I don't know that I can share any more information, and I also don't want to stand up here and lie to you or any of you. So I would rather just not say, because that's just how I navigate my relationships. Yeah.
I have a question. My question was, you said during your presentation how some of the reasons why, I guess community engagement, student involvement is because of how they feel. I'm asking as the president of Black Student Union, what can we do as affinity groups to help, my peers and students understand that we're here to make them feel like they are comfortable and to help them know that they do and can say what they want to do and speak how they want to do. And, we're just
Yeah.
sitting here for as an open space. I've noticed this semester and last, community engagement and student engagement is very low. And it's very sad because, we do these things and events in the hopes that people do come and know that they do have a sense of belonging on campus. So I guess my question is that the reason why, one of the reasons why student engagement is so low is because of that fear that they have or just feeling like they can't be themselves?
Yeah. I think with this set of data that it's not clear, if that correlation exists explicitly. Does that make sense? But what I will say, and I know that we've talked, and I really appreciate your leadership in that space. I think engagement in all areas are at an all-time low right now because we are just in a place and time where things are extremely contentious and things feel very uncertain and very at odds. And I think part of how we aid in bridging those gaps is to create more spaces where people can talk and engage respectfully with one another. These are conversations that I've had with all of my campus partners in this room. And to equip and skill students, staff, and faculty with how to hold spaces of that nature, and then also how to respond if a student, for example, expresses a different point of view in the class, right? Or in the dining hall, or whatever it may be. And so some of the things that I've been talking with folks about and looking into are making sure that we can provide external resources to come onto campus to equip students with those skills. I had a conversation with a community partner earlier today, actually, about coming in and offering workshops for all of those stakeholder groups on things like de-escalation, know your rights, how to engage in civic discourse respectfully, all of those kind of basic skills on how to civically engage in a way that's respectful and honoring of all viewpoints and identities, I think is really important for us to lean into and for students, staff, and faculty to really take a hold of as an opportunity in order to cultivate more spaces where dialogue can happen and where belonging can happen, right? And I'm not gonna stand up here and say that it's also not an institutional issue. We have to be constantly doing a better job of communicating, of being transparent, of being engaged, and again, leading with your voices in mind. So I think it's all of those things, and that's not a student problem, right? I just wanna emphasize that because a lot of students come to my office and say, hey, people are not showing up to our spaces. We're trying to offer these spaces. People are just not coming to the table. And that's not a you issue. Yeah, that's a culture that signals to me that there's a culture problem, and that we can do a better job at supporting you all and supporting students broadly and getting to the places they need to be. Yeah. So extending grace to all of you who are trying to hold those spaces and it's just not working out for whatever reason. And I can be a thought partner to any of you about different tactics or things that might be appealing for students to show up in your spaces a little bit more. Yeah.
Justin Wald.
Just a follow-up from the last question. So
Yeah.
the office is placed under human resources, which deals with staff. How is that going to affect the student side? And also, will you be staying on main campus, or would you be moving towards man, or what would that look like?
For right now, I'm staying on main campus. I don't know if that will change or what will happen. A lot of the roles and responsibilities are still being sorted out, so I can't give you a clear answer on that. And I know that you've been given some ambiguous answers lately, but I don't have the answer for you, or I would share it. And as far as, what was the first part of your question? Sorry.
Since human resources is typically
Oh,
student-based,
yeah.
how would that affect the students?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think this is a really pivotal moment where like human resources, staff, faculty facing things are colliding with student support in a way that's not been done before. And I mean, some functionalities of the human resources department, like EO Title IX, like support our student facing, right? But I think this is more of a way to like build the bridge and maybe build some understanding around student experience and how that relates to the ways in which staff and faculty are trained, the offerings that they receive, like all of the different things. I think this could be a good bridge for that, or the way in which we're thinking about it.
Thank you.
Yeah. But we will remain supportive and engage with students. I just want to emphasize that, and that's been a condition of mine, of Azanda's, as we've moved through these changes. So that is not going to change. It may look different, but the access will always be there. Yeah.
Angelisa is going to stand up.
Since you guys transitioned out of student affairs and are now under HR, is there any, while also supporting students, like is there any departments that might now go under the BLL like office?
Azanda, do you want to answer that question? Dee Dee just asked if there were offices that were going to be underneath us.
Bases will report to me, and that would be the owner office.
Any further? Celia Rosita.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, what can we expect for the upcoming campus climate survey in March? Is there going to be like similar questions from the last one, or are there going to be like more specific different questions?
Yeah, so many of the questions will remain, but I think the questions about classroom climate in particular will show up less, and there will be more questions that are situated in overall or campus climate and feelings of belongingness in certain spaces. So whether that be like RSOs or events and initiatives on campus, it'll be more focused in those areas than in the classroom. Yeah, no problem.
Any further? Seeing none? Thank you, Jenica.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thank you, Jenica and Dr. Seymour. We really appreciate you two coming down to represent your office, share some information about the climate survey, and answer some of our questions, even though you might not have all the information. Before I start my report, I wanted to start this by acknowledging the importance of the month of February. February is Black History Month, beginning in 1926 as the second week in February, coinciding with Frederick Douglass's birthday as well as Abraham Lincoln's birthday. To combat the erasure of the contributions of Black history. Since then, it has grown over the past 100 years, becoming a dedicated time to educate, celebrate, and highlight these achievements, contributions, and heritage. This is something that's not only important to the world or the nation, but it is important to the vitality and heart of our campus. There's been some trouble regarding the planning and funding of events, specifically for Black History Month and other Heritage Months. And I wanted to make it clear that the Executive Council knows, and we are committed to fixing this and ensuring that we will be able to celebrate Black History Month, as well as all the other History and Heritage Months, no matter what moves we have to take. Next, a little more lighthearted, we have an exciting opportunity for you all. Barney and I have been working extensively with the Vice President for Community and Government Relations, Melinda Phelps, to plan a State University Advocacy Day to the State House in Boston. This will take place Thursday, February 26th, and you can join us as we travel to Boston to meet with elected members of the State House and Senate and advocate for public higher education issues. For this trip, lunches and transportation will be provided, leaving here at 8 a.m. and returning to campus at about 5. If you're interested in coming on this trip or you want to know more about it, feel free to see me after the meeting or ask any questions after my report. Next, I have a little handout from the foundation. They sent out an email regarding their scholarships that open today and go until March 25th, where students can apply for over 100 scholarships totaling to about $250,000. This is a great opportunity to knock some money off your bills and reduce the financial burden of higher education. So be sure to take a look at the flyer or check the emails sent from Bill Hines and apply for some scholarships. It's a great opportunity. You also get a nice fun event where you can meet some of the scholarship donors at the beginning of the fall semester. So it's a great networking thing too. Next, we have some finance proposals that we went through. Without a VP of Finance, the Executive Council's taken over the Finance Committee's jobs until we find a new one and can meet with the Finance Committee regularly again. The first one is from the Environmental Planning Club, planning a trip to the Wildlife Society workshop. They requested $221.65 to reimburse student drivers for transportation mileage. And that is it. The Executive Council voted to approve this finance proposal. Is there a motion regarding this finance proposal?
Motion to approve. Sorry.
This is all you, Carly.
Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? Oh, seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Fantastic. The second one was a finance proposal by La Fay, requesting $150 for catering for an event they're holding, a Know Your Rights event they're holding. The Executive Council voted to table that motion until the event gets approved. That's it, right, Matt? Oh, sorry, this is not the position I ran for, so I have no idea how to do this. And the final one is the Executive Council voted to allocate $2,000 to a new club baseball team. That is just, they want to start up now. Yeah, we voted to approve that money, and now the decision lies with Senate if we decide to move forward with that.
So moved.
Second.
There you go.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Oh.
Awesome.
It's my first time.
My apologies. I did not go over finance proposals and such with Carly when I was telling her about everything she had to do at the meetings. The next thing, last week on Thursday, the Executive Council sat down with the university's cabinet to meet regarding 3 prominent issues. The first one was the fact that students are experiencing substantial barriers related to faculty resistance to the passage and the implementation of the new Common Hour proposal, limiting its intended benefits for student engagement and access. We met with Cabinet, discussed this with them, and came up with next steps that I will share soon with all of you once I meet with the Provost. Second, we discussed the recent reorganization of the Belonging, Inclusion, and Learning Office and how it has resulted in reduced institutional support for affinity groups, creating gaps in personnel and financial resources, and in some cases, increased harm to these student populations. And we were able to get some answers out of Cabinet, and then I sent a follow-up email to get even more information that hopefully I will get a response to and can share that with all of you. Finally, we ended off this meeting discussing the ongoing challenges related to free expression on campus, with inconsistent faculty and staff responses contributing to an environment where some students feel unsafe, while others feel unwelcome or discouraged from expressing themselves. We're working quickly and diligently on solving these issues so that we can restore trust and harmony to the campus community and ensure everyone feels welcome and at home at Westfield State. Finally, we have a bunch of openings on governance committees. Governance committees are crucial to our organization's work as a recognized governing institute on this campus, so it is very important that we fill these seats. We have 2 on the All University Committee, which I serve on. We have 3 on the Academic Policies Committee, and then we have 1, I believe, on the University Curriculum Committee. 2, sorry, which Melissa sits on. If you're at all interested on getting on any of those committees and you want more information on them, please feel free to reach out to Melissa or myself, and we can provide you with that information. They're not difficult committees. They're very interesting and engaging. You get to meet with faculty and staff to go over academic policies, curriculum changes, or on AUC, you get to be the pipeline that funnels them to those 2 committees and then gets them back at the end. That's all I've got.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Justin?
I believe you might have something about Keeper of the Dream. I don't know.
No,
Perhaps.
I don't.
Okay.
We forgot to discuss that in our meeting. Look out for the teams tomorrow, potentially.
Are there any further comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, thank you, Justin.
And now for your Vice President's report of student life, Travis McLaughlin.
Oh, I forgot a pen to click. Good evening, everyone. The first thing I have, this is a very small report today. The first thing I have today is another call for volunteers for the lunch interview on Thursday with the candidate for the Counseling Center's outreach counselor position. It's a mouthful. The interview is 12:15 to 1:15 this coming Thursday, the 12th in Dining Commons. Happy birthday, Melissa.
Oh, thank you.
The sign-up's there. I forgot to mention last week that this definitely can count as a community engagement hour if you sign up for it, of which all centers need 10. This one's not too bad. It's very informal. You get free lunch. Pretty cool. Not too hard. Sign up for it. And you get to help change our campus community. Look at that. In other news, the student leadership awards are still open. Ooh. Happy birthday again, Alyssa. It's not actually her birthday, by the way. But if you want to wish her happy birthday, I wouldn't stop you. The nominations don't close until next Friday, February 20th. Therefore, student leaders, student leadership organizations, you can self-nominate, anyone can nominate. They're pretty cool. Yeah, that's actually all I have today.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Travis? Seeing none. Now for your University Curriculum Committee report, Aiden Gomez.
How's everyone doing today?
Fantastic.
Good? Okay, I just want to start off by thanking Melissa for letting me report on the University Curriculum Committee today, and I'm really excited to share with you all the findings on the report. The University Curriculum Committee met on Friday, February 6th at 1:40 p.m. The meeting started with discussing revisions for foreign language requirements in the English major, reducing foreign language requirements as Westfield State does not offer a large variety of foreign languages, and students should not lose out on those English courses if they're an English major. There have been changes to English 221. The old name was World Literature. The new one is Exploring Global Stories. It is WISE inclusive, and the minor course revisions were approved by the committee. English 212, Exploring British Literature since 1780. The proposal was for prereq changes, and the course has been accurately updated for the course content. That was also passed by the committee. English 228, which is Introduction to Shakespeare, also had a request for prereq changes, and that was also approved by the committee. English 105, 213, and 215 were deleted courses as they are outdated from honors, and they are now courses that have the proper honors learning numbers, and they are also set up to match the new Gen Ed requirements. That motion was also passed by the committee. English 204, which is Comp 2, Rhetoric and Research, is a writing course that will continue to be used for English and criminal justice courses, which is a great course to develop critical skills and gain benefit in writing and reading. That motion was also passed by the committee. English 392, which is Business and Technical Writing, was just a number change, and course revisions were made to accurately update the course. That was also passed by the committee. Criminal Justice 398 is the field practicum in criminal justice that has credit options that are from 3 to 6 credits. Those were proposed course revisions due to course level change of 300 to 400, and the motion passed. Criminal Justice Senior Seminar is a new course, and that is a senior seminar, and that was also passed by the committee. Econ 498 is a senior research seminar, which is WISE inclusive, and the proposal was added to this course to research to accurately update according to new Gen Ed motion. That was passed. A batch of English courses had number changes. These are being renumbered to accurately reflect the content level, and this will properly structure for the intended audience. Many of the renumbering will include 400 level graduate courses, and that motion was also passed. English major literature concentration has a full revising to the requirements to accurately update content and to ensure exposure to the opportunities in learning for students. That motion was passed by the committee. English literature concentration licensure, that course has revisions, and that was passed by the committee. History Bachelor Arts and History Licensure program description changes were made as the description is outdated and will be updated to accurately reflect student learning and outcomes. That motion was passed by the committee. And with that, any questions at all?
Are there any questions?
Melissa?
Congratulations on this report.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
And now for your Vice President's report of student belonging, Lorraine Fernandez.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to share a few updates and reminders. So to start, this past Friday, February 6th, I had the privilege to be a part of our collaborative trip to the Westfield Soup Kitchen. We had a great turnaround with about 40 people attending, which was great. I want to give a special thanks to Dining Services for providing a very winter / comfort meal, which was a chicken pot pie, some nice side salad, some biscuits, and a chocolate pudding with some Oreo crumbles on top. Really good. Also, thank you to the Interfaith Center, the Veterans and Military Services, and our senators. I want to shout out Aiden, Olivia, Lucia. I've been practicing all day, guys. No, we're gonna talk about that. And Ali, who couldn't be here today, who all contributed to this initiative. Moving on, Blue Key Awards nomination forms are open today. Hopefully you all have received the email from us informing our campus that we are now accepting nominations. This form will be open until March 10th. Remember that anyone can nominate students for this award and all students are eligible. So we're encouraging everyone to participate participate and recognize the students that have gone above and beyond for the campus community. Also, another reminder that the Blue Key Committee will be meeting tomorrow, Wednesday, February 11th at 4 p.m. in University Hall, Room B, to start working on this process. And also along with that, this week, the Belonging Committee will also meet as well on Friday, February 13th at 5 p.m. through Zoom. Now on to next week. On Wednesday, so next Wednesday, February 18th, from like 2 to 4 in front of the SGA room, so like where the bulletin board is, Melissa, Celia, and I will be hosting a tabling pop-up event with the purpose of interacting with students, offering resources, and participating in a quick activity. We'll have some goodies as well, so we hope that you all stop by. Our hope is to check in with our community. We're calling it like a community care check-in to connect with students and hopefully start spreading the word for and hopefully an SGA open forum that we hope to host the following week. So not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that. And finally, Justin touched up on that for Black History Month. So I'm working to help promote and advocate Black History Month events with the Black Student Union and the Office of Belonging, Inclusion, and Learning. I don't want to give out too many details because that's kind of more, they want to take more charge in sharing and promoting those details on the events. But what I can't share is that there's going to be a speaker event on February 25th. There's going to be a movie night on February 26th and a collaboration with Dining Commons for a Black History Month dinner to be announced. So if anyone has any questions regarding these events, you can ask me, but just make sure to follow the Instagram account of the Black Student Union at BSU_Westfield. That's all.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Lorraine? Seeing none, thank you, Lorraine.
That.
Is there any new business? Seeing none, announcements. Jacob Townsend.
Can Eli and Julian come see me after the meeting?
Celia Rossi.
So I don't know if you guys have seen the Instagram post, but the Owl Ball theme was officially announced. So if you guys don't follow the Instagram account, please follow it. Stay tuned for updates, and please come to the Owl Ball. Oh, yay!
All right, so anyone who's interested in attending the Keeper of the Dream event to represent the student government organization this Thursday night should reach out to me. I just want to share, just as a reminder, that this is a formal university event, so please keep that in mind. Thank you. Marty Garcia.
I just want to quickly announce my office hours. They're now tentative, but I'm sure hopefully maybe they won't change. So it's now Wednesdays at 2 to 5 p.m. and now Fridays at 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Thank you.
Any further? Lorraine Fernandez.
On behalf of Didi, who had to leave, 94 days until commencement.
And roll call.
Just saying, guys, 100 days was really fun. Angelina Casella. Dora Rivas.
Here.
Christopher Lannon. Here. Eli Baez. Here. D'Angelizo Ozuna Sandoval. Brianna Giuliani.
Here.
Don't pack up yet. Luke Staley. Here. Will Honorado. Here. Alyssa Hannafin.
Here.
Raymond Croto. Sophia Redunco. Aiden Gomez. Here. Fabian Morales. Lucia Sadura.
Here.
Liv Carney.
Here.
Julian Ozer.
Here.
Coda Santos.
Here.
Matthew Crucia. Here. Ali Sutherland. And Maria Rantamararo.
Here.
All right. If there's no additional business, I call to adjourn the February 10th meeting until February 17th.